Super Mario Flash. For many, this game brings nostalgia, reminding them of countless hours spent playing their friends' brutally hard levels at school. Back in the late 2000s and early 2010s, this game was one of the only Mario games with a user-friendly level editor, with many custom levels having hundreds of thousands, or even millions of views on YouTube. However, this game also comes with single-player levels that are notoriously difficult. Only the best players have ever completed these 10 levels, and only the most elite have risen to the top and claimed the world record. This is the story of those players. Welcome to Super Mario Flash, any percent glitchless. The first attempts to speedrun the game can be traced back to the late 2000s. In 2009, Imran posted the first attempted speedrun of the game. However, the footage of Bowser's Castle has been lost to time, and the run itself is played on a dubious version of the game, so it's not worth analyzing in detail. The first completed speedrun with video was posted in November 2013 by Manny. His time, a 12:58. So, how did Manny achieve such a time? Let's take a look at this run. Level 1 of Super Mario Flash is fairly easy, and Manny was able to breeze through the level without slowing down too much. However, he ignored the shortcut pipe, which lost him several seconds. If Manny had entered this pipe, he could have played an underground section that is much shorter than the normal route. Manny also picked up both a mushroom and a fire flower in level 1, allowing him to kill enemies throughout the run. This is both useful for saving time and avoiding deaths, so is an obvious choice for him. Level 2 features several vertical moving platforms that can often be annoying to deal with. In this run, he made it through the first set of platforms with a very good cycle, but he hesitated on the second and third sets of platforms. He also grabbed an unnecessary fire flower here, something he would do again in later levels. Since you already have the fire flower, there's no reason to pick another one up, and it costs about a second for every extra power-up grab. Level 3 introduces horizontal moving platforms as well, and most of the level has no ground beneath it. Manny opted to play it safe here, slowing down before nearly every jump, and killing the Koopas on each platform before proceeding. Although this stopped some of the platforms from moving, it was a safe and effective strategy that got him through. Level 4 has some tricky jumps and annoying enemy placements. By using fire, Manny was able to finish the level without any major slowdowns. At the end of the level, he turned back to avoid getting hit by a Spiny, which cost him some time. Level 5 is where things start to really get difficult in Super Mario Flash. Featuring moving platforms, potaboos, fire bars, and of course Bowser, it can be difficult to get through cleanly. In fact, Manny lost his power-up almost immediately, and he slowed down a lot throughout the level. The one exception to this is Bowser. Manny ran right past Bowser and attempted to keep his power up. While he ultimately failed, he still got by Bowser quickly. This strategy was also far ahead of its time and was a glimpse into the future of this game's movement. After opening the chest with the axe in it, Manny entered the second half of the game. Level 6 has several tough jumps and enemies, but overall it's a fairly easy level. After losing his power up in the previous level, he opted to grab a mushroom here and a flower in level 7 to regain the safety and speed of Fire Mario. His execution was quite good for the time, even though he did slow down a fair bit. Next, Manny enters level 7. This is one of the most challenging levels in the run, containing several tough jumps, including some platform movement. He slowed down for nearly every jump in the level, preferring to take it safe and focus on not dying. Level 8 is another tough level, featuring small platforms, lots of enemies, and Hammer Brothers. Again, Manny gets off the platform to kill Koopas in his way, losing him time, and his movement is quite slow. The last normal level in the game is level 9. This level has fairly tame jumps, but most of the difficulty comes from enemy placements. Throughout the level, Manny had to dodge Lakitus Cloud, piranha plants, spinies, and other enemies as he attempted to clear each jump. He hesitated quite a bit for this jump, and he even lost fire partway through the level. This forced him to take a more conservative approach to the rest of the level, as he waited for most of the enemies to move out of his way. Mario then traverses 2 passages and ends up in the final level, Koopa Castle. This level is essentially a pipe maze, and if you don't know which way to go, you can easily lose minutes. Several of the rooms also feature difficult jumps, making it by far the greatest threat to the run. Here, Manny's expertise really shone through. He memorized each pipe he needed to enter, so he didn't enter the wrong one a single time. He hesitated a lot in the 3rd room, but other than that, he had no major slowdowns. After talking to Peach, the run was over, and Manny closed out at 12:58. The run overall was incredible. Despite the numerous slowdowns, Manny had beaten the game deathless, and without taking the wrong path once in level 10. Years before anyone else even thought of speedrunning this game, he had already mastered the difficult levels and beaten the game without dying a single time. Even though the run had obvious imperfections, it would stand for 2 years. In 2015, Zelda Level Maker would post a segmented run clocking in around 11:40. Due to Bandicam's restrictions, he was unable to record more than 10 minutes of continuous footage, forcing him to segment the run. Zelda Level Maker's approach to the run was very different from Manny's approach. Instead of focusing on not dying, Level Maker lost time from 3 big deaths, and he also grabbed lots of power-ups after taking damage. Instead of grabbing the fire flower to clear out enemies, he would repeatedly grab mushrooms for safety, and whenever he took damage, he would simply pick up another power-up to preserve that safety. The way he made up for these mistakes was with much cleaner movement than Manny. He hesitated a lot less and played the early levels with minimal slowdown, and some strategies, such as the 2-frame jump in Passage 1, are still in use today. The next time someone would attempt a speedrun of Super Mario Flash would be in March 2017. The player's name? Caskier. This would be the first modern speedrun of the game, as it was the first record submitted to speedrun.com. This run showcased several new strategies, such as finally using the shortcut pipe in level 1. He also began utilizing the Koopa jumps in level 3, which saves seconds over just riding the platform normally. Levels 4 and 6 featured essentially no slowdowns, and the strategies pioneered by Caskier are still used today, albeit with minor modifications. His overall gameplay was very clean. Unlike the previous record, he didn't die or pick up safety mushrooms. Instead, he would grab power-ups to damage boost past strategic sections and save time. Thanks to this much cleaner execution, he was able to smash the sub 10 barrier with a 9:15. At this point, people began to realize that sub 9 was possible, so Caskier started grinding for it. His first order of business was to clean up his overall movement. He achieved a 9:05 using largely the same strategies. His next improvement came thanks to a major routing change. By keeping fire into level 9, he was able to play much more aggressively, saving several seconds. Only 1 day after achieving the 9:05, he improved his record to 9:01 using this new strategy. He was only 2 seconds away from the sub 9 run, so he kept grinding. 2 weeks later, he achieved his goal. By refining his movement, Caskier had achieved the sub 9-minute run, an incredible milestone. Thanks to his dedication, the world record was pushed much further than many thought possible. He was far ahead of everyone else, and after he retired from SMF, it seemed like this run would stand for a long time. 4 months later, enter FNAN136. At the time of Caskier's 8:59, he had a second place 9:24. Over the span of a few months, he had improved his time to the point where he could challenge the 8:59. He used a slightly different route than Caskier, grabbing fire in level 2 instead of level 1 to save a bit of time. However, most of his time save comes from small optimizations. Not bouncing on the bullets at the end of level 6 means he doesn't slow down as much. He also had much cleaner pipe jumps in level 7, and ran through the level 8 hammer bros instead of waiting. Thanks to all of these small time saves, he would achieve an 8:55 in May of 2018. A few weeks later, he would improve his time by 1 second thanks again to small optimizations. By the end of the month, the record had fallen to an 8:54, but now the category would enter another period of inactivity. In November of 2018, a veteran of the game would explode onto the any% glitchless scene, completely changing the landscape. His name was L2000. He was mainly interested in the glitch categories, achieving a 755 in any%, and he would go on to hold every single glitched individual level record for years. He would adopt a completely different route from Nanan and Cascade. He played most of the game as Small Mario, only grabbing power-ups for the Bowser damage boosts in levels 5 and 10, and a plant damage boost in level 9. While he couldn't clear out enemies, he also didn't have to slow down to grab power-ups, which saved a bit of time. However, L2000's strongest asset was his movement. It was on another level, way above any other runner of the game. He would go for frame-perfect jumps to clear large gaps in level 1 and level 10, saving a second each time. While you only have a 26th of a second to time the jump, he was willing to go for any time save to improve the record. His first glitchless run, completed in November of 2018, was an 8:44, beating the world record by 10 seconds. This was the largest improvement in years, but L2000 was far from done. A week later, he would break through again, this time with an 8:37. He started going for elevator skip in level 2, an extremely difficult trick that allows you to catch an earlier platform cycle, saving 0.3 seconds. By now, sub 830 was in everyone's mind, but it seemed just out of reach. 2 weeks later, he would achieve an 8:34, largely thanks to an improvement in level 1. In this level, he went for the individual level strat, which requires 3 frame-perfect jumps in a row, saving a second overall. Despite this new time save, sub 830 still seemed nearly impossible. But then, L2000 adopted a major routing improvement. The fundamental trade-off for Super Mario Flash routing had always been as follows. You could either slow down to grab a power-up, and then save time from enemy kills, or you could play as Small Mario, but lose time to slowing down for certain enemies. However, the community found a way to break this trade-off. You can grab this mushroom in level 3, while waiting for the platform to come back left, which allows you the benefits of grabbing a mushroom without any time lost from picking one up. On Christmas Eve 2018, L2000 would capitalize on this new route, achieving an 8:31, just 2 seconds away from the legendary sub 830. Surely a time of such magnitude would require months of grinding, right? On December 26, 2018, L2000 played an 8:29, an incredible accomplishment. The run was essentially flawless for the strats he was going for, and he only lost frames throughout each level. After getting this run, L2000 would return to the glitch categories, and any% glitchless would enter another dark period. If anyone was to surpass this run, new strats would need to be implemented. 8 months later, Nanan would return to the category. This time, he was armed with OBS and live split, allowing viewers to watch his runs with a much higher quality. He would go for a fire grab as well as a mushroom in level 3, a very difficult strat that would skip slowing down for a power. He also started going for a damageless Bowser for the first time since Manny back in 2013. By keeping his fire past level 5, he'd save about 2 seconds from not picking it up again, and by playing level 10 Bowser as Small Mario, he wouldn't need to pick up another power-up. However, there was one problem. The pattern required for a fast damageless Bowser has been calculated to be between 2% and 10% likely, which means that over 90% of the runs that make it to any given Bowser fight will die because of a bad pattern. This didn't deter Nanon, and so he started grinding in mid-2019, streaming his attempts on Twitch. In August, he broke through. Although he missed fast damageless Bowser in level 5, he was able to get it in level 10, closing out in 828. 2 weeks later, he was on a run that missed perfect level 1. However, this run would get both Bowser strats, ending up with an 827.846. A new record had been set, but there was still more time for improvement. However, Nanon stopped grinding the category shortly after he beat the record. Perhaps he considered it too difficult, too luck dependent, or just too much of a grind. Despite the obvious potential for improvement, his 827.846, set almost 2 years ago, remains the world record. Oh my god, it's real, dude, it's real! Oh! Dude, this is insane! Or at least, that's what I would have said when I started making this video. But during the making of this video, a 10-second time save was found, the largest in Super Mario Flash speedrun history. Remember Alimran's run from the beginning of the video, the one that I said was played on a dubious version of the game? Well, it turns out that it was actually played on version 2.5 of the game, which has one major difference from version 3.0, which is the one that most speedruns were performed on. Version 2.5 has underground flagpoles in level 2 and level 7, meaning that you don't need to go through a pipe and then touch the flagpole, saving 5 seconds each time. Using this insane new time save, a player known as Raya has been grinding his way towards the top of the leaderboard. Raya quickly found success using the new version, achieving an 834, a new personal best. However, he was still 7 seconds away from the world record, and it seemed like he was hitting a wall. He just couldn't get better at the game. So Raya decided to take a 2-week break from runs to help practice and improve his consistency. The day after he came back from his break, this run happened. It's not over yet. Yes! Oh! Wait a second, is that record? There's no way that's record. There's no way. Yeah, it's not, okay. Yes! Sub 830! Oh! At first day back! But Raya wasn't done yet. Literally the next day, Raya achieved an 826, beating the world record for the first time in 2 years. Exclamation point spam in the chat right now, that's world record. That's world record. Oh my gosh, let's go, dude. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. 2 days, 2 big days, 826, world record! Let's go, dude! After several more weeks of grinding, Raya was able to get an 823, which is where the world record currently stands. However, the run still contains many imperfections, such as slowing down for Bowser in level 10 due to being small. So, what does the future hold for Super Mario Flash? Well, Raya's still grinding the game, and the world record on version 3.0 is still Nanon's 827. This means that on version 2.5, with an equivalent run, the time would be 817, so there's still a lot of room for improvement. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something about Super Mario Flash. To catch my latest runs, go follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Raya. Please like and subscribe as it really helps the channel grow. See you in the next one!